Thank you for tuning in to watch our Invest Dallas Fort Worth launch conference. You're about to watch panel number 1, Innovation and Ingenuity. Enjoy.
Yeah, and Matt, if you could talk a little bit about the juxtaposition of growth in DFW versus the global markets, because in a lot of ways, you guys serve the globe, if I understand from here, and how you would compare growth and innovation here, agility, and globally. How do those compare a little bit?
Yeah, I think, like Buffy said, we've had great growth here. We've had companies like Caterpillar relocate headquarters here. And I really think that's because of our talent base. It's a big part of it. We have great universities. We've always had a robust technology sector in North Texas, from TI to IBM. And so I see the Dallas-Fort Worth area quickly outpacing what we'd see in most other markets. There's other fast-growing markets, Atlanta and Nashville, where customers are also relocating or growing their presence. But Dallas-Fort Worth is by far the fastest growing as far as companies relocating headquarters, bringing in, setting up talent development centers. So, yeah, I definitely see it far outpacing what's happening globally. And as we really go into a period of economic uncertainty and what I think is probably economic slowing globally, we'll all be really well served being here in this market.
Got it. And Chris, so you think about where you guys are in terms of people don't always mix innovation and accounting in the same sentence. Can you talk about like things that you're seeing around? Because there's a tremendous demand for your services. I mean, it takes a long time to get trained to do what you do. How innovation and servicing clients and candidly getting employees, how's that going in North Texas?
It's doing great. We get a bad rap for not being, considered innovative. But great questions. And that is true. I think we are finding as a professional services firm, for our long-term success, it's key to be innovative in creating solutions for our clients. And so while we're very committed to providing audit, tax, and those traditional types of services, we're also very committed to creating new solutions. And so Forbes has created what we call EDGE, which is our innovation lab, where our professionals identify needs that our clients have. And we've got software developers and other experts in different fields who create solutions to those problems. And so we just recently, in the banking industry, released a tool called Loan Pricing Pro, which allows bankers to immediately price a loan and identify some other metrics that help to manage client relationships. And that came out of needs that banks that we work with identified that they have. So I think it's key in our industry for our long-term success to make those types of investments and think outside the box of who we are and the types of services that we provide for our clients.
And is there any difference in the North Texas region, either in developing that EDGE group or being a service for clients as compared to, say, New York City or LA?
I think the diversity of the economy here is key because we do have so many different industries coming in and so many companies relocating their headquarters here. It gives us an opportunity to work with different types of organizations and maybe identify needs a little bit quicker than what some of our colleagues in other markets might experience. So that's definitely one advantage that we have here.
Jeff, I want to ask just, how do you keep up? I mean, because you think about, okay, the banking industry, and I'm not a banker. I have a couple of banks that love my bankers. I tell them when they have free money, let me know because I'm first in line. But in all seriousness, Texas, this growth in Texas and DFW is a thing, right? It's been going on 20, 30 years. It's accelerating now. How are you having to adapt to just keep up with that growth in a highly regulated industry?
Great question. For us, since we brought the bank together, we've really focused on, and that is to be able to handle the growth and diversity of DFW and really all of Texas. We're very fortunate to be in Texas. And of course, technology innovation plays a big part of the range. But what range means to us is our ability to sense and respond to hurdles in the bank as well as opportunities that we see, but also to be able to do that for our customers. Just yesterday, I was on a call with a prospect who had referred to me by investment group here in Dallas. And they've been growing very, very quickly. A lot of our companies. And they have 14 banking relationships. They've been referred to me, I guess, the 15. And I asked him, well, what are the challenges? Why do you have 14 banking relationships? And he said, well, things are going really good for us. We have a great onboarding application, but that onboarding application has a handoff with banks, and the banks don't have a way to really integrate technology customer experience. And of course, the other challenge is we're growing very, very quickly, and we also see that. I'm not sure exactly why I was referring to it. Said it was told me an innovative bank. And I said, well, I think what I hear you're saying is you know, you have an issue with your customer experience. So let me learn a little bit more about that. And the other side is the fact that that's what we're not doing. And what we found out of that solution was, we saw this call yesterday on the innovation company. We can integrate our workforce ACE, accelerated customer engagement, into your onboarding application. And then we'll also integrate our onboarding with the marketplace to allow you to sell those assets back into the market. And this will give you a very so our desire obviously is to be his one bank for his entire journey, but innovation, the ability to respond with
Got it. Let's stay here in the bank because I think a lot of people, there's a, you know, unique thing. We're sort of generationally somewhat similar. I think I might be the oldest one up here, but if we talk to the younger generation, people in their 20s, and they, you know, they're using online banking things much more prevalent than we would have been at that time in our era. Where do you see the balance between the relationship of a banker and a bank that's technically advanced versus just a pure fintech play? How do you see some of those advantages, disadvantages, and challenges?
Great question. So this is something we talk about often, and I came from the big banks originally. I have respect for the big banks, but I really feel like it's the glory days of community banks. And here's the reason why. You know, so community banks used to really resonate with all the business leaders across the community. But as technology played a bigger part of that experience, community banks have continued to shrink. But with the barriers in the technology space, I think it's the glory days for community banks because we can really understand their needs and we can employ the people, the relationships, as well as technology to have those solutions. Those play a huge part not only in the transformation of anybody's business in this room, but also for the younger generations who are growing up, not living in the lobbies. So for us, we really see it as a high touch, high tech, solution oriented approach. Some people want more FaceTime, some people want more technology time. It's our job to be able to provide what they need.
That's awesome. And Chris, let me go to you on something here because I think one of the things people think is growth, and you talk to people from the coast, and I have friends in the East Coast, West Coast, all over the place, and they go, "Well, what's up with that Dallas Fort Worth, you know, and Texas and the growth?" But growth is not only good, and a lot of us in this room are enjoying it, and it will help us a lot. It's also a lot of risk there too. So, Chris, talk about both the firm and how you will advise people to try to lean into the growth, but figure out when are they taking too much risk, and when the growth can honestly maybe inhibit their, you know, and it.
Yeah, great question. I think certainly being in this market, we've all been able to enjoy a considerable amount of growth, particularly, you know, post-pandemic. But I think that there's a couple of things. One, with the advancement of technology and the movement of AI, I think expectations of our clients has increased in terms of what we do and how we can adapt these things. While they're important and part of our future, I think we have to be somewhat measured in that approach and setting expectations. One of the things that we're able to do, I mentioned our innovation lab. Some of the tools that we're creating because of the vast amounts of data that we have access to. We also have an obligation to protect that data and use it in a way that is legal and keeps it protected for our clients. And so making the investment in the necessary infrastructure to be able to do that is a portal. The other thing that we've had to do to adopt to the changing workforce, and I know that we all have, is the remote work environment that we live in, or the flexible work environment that we live in. That also creates its own risk in terms of probably more from a business perspective, just in terms of efficiency and effectiveness of our employees. And so making sure that we've got the necessary tools in place to engage with employees who are working remotely, so that they can be efficient and effective and engaged. Those are some of the things that we're looking at, and that's to make sure that we're positioned.
That's great. And Matt, let me ask you something on digital transformation, because everybody's looking more about AI now, but he said underneath AI is still this massive digital transformation movement. So if you're not a tech-enabled business, you might not be in business in 20 years. Can you talk about things that you're seeing, that the growth and the innovation, how that's impacting that? Where you mentioned Caterpillar, and you think of the really big firms here who are here, and I think the really little ones. What are the things that you see people doing right around those things, and what do you see people that you would give caution to?
So yeah, as we continue on the theme of growth, while people are coming here for our talent base, it also creates a lot of competition for the talent. Our company is fortunate that we've always had a dispersed labor base, but if you're a company where all your folks have to be located here, they're working in a plant, or they're working in an office doing accounting work, etc. The thing that we're really looking to partner with and help them unleash with digital transformation is automating those very low value manual tasks, and having their folks focus on higher value work. And I think everybody's really embraced that, whether it's the financial services market, whether it's our manufacturing customers, our aerospace industry here in North Texas. I think everybody understands that they need to utilize technology to, again, enable our people to focus on high value activities and not lower value activities. So I think most companies see that. The ones that are behind are catching up now. We had such a period of front end transformation in the earlier 2000s. Everybody was into commerce and how you sell and go to market, Amazon, etc. A lot of people didn't think about the back end systems, the order management to fulfill all that, commerce and the other systems that enable all that to happen. So there's been a big investment there, and again, AI starts with good data, right? If you don't have good data, you can't get into machine learning, you can't get into artificial intelligence. So I think companies are also really focusing on cleaning up and having good data structure so they can move into that next generation of technology.
That's great. You teed up the next question. So we're going to ask the attorney in the room to talk about AI. And you mentioned, not everybody, some people think they'll never have to talk to their attorney. Well, obviously they still will, but what AI, both in the internal use for you all and what you're looking at and trying to do, and then secondly, how your clients are doing that in terms of that versus the regulatory things that might be kind of overarching.
Yeah, I think, well, playing off of what Jeff was talking about earlier, I think one of the things that we have to do is understand our clients and how do we get those services to them in a way that is cost effective and accurate, and meeting all of our ethical obligations as attorneys and guiding our clients. AI is it's got a lot of risk. I'm sure we've all read articles about the AI that has drafted pleadings using fake cases. They sound very legitimate. It's really scary, and then you look at it and it never existed. So I think that's the risk that we have with AI, is that it's so good you can't imagine that it's not accurate. And so our job as counsel is to understand the technology so that we can develop systems that will allow for us to use it in an ethical way and in a way that's getting accurate information to the courts, to our clients, to regulatory agencies, guiding our clients through their legal issues, but also developing an understanding so that we can help our clients utilize this technology in a way that makes sense for their industry, and understanding the pitfalls that can occur for all of us. Because, I think anytime that people come in and they say, oh, this is a disruption technology, you have to think about not only, the front end immediate uses, but also preparing for the future and understanding what are the risks that you have later. And as council, we are really working concertedly to try to really develop a way to utilize technology that's going to help us bring the costs down, bring the efficiency up, and also allowing for our clients to better understand how it can be utilized in their own work. I think the other risk I think too is just being able to keep everybody moving in the same direction using that technology. And to that end, we as a firm have developed a pretty lengthy policy on how we're able to use it and implement it. But I think that this is going to be, as anything in law, it's going to take a long time in accounting and all of our industries, banking. We're not early adopters generally of anything. So I think a very, very conservative and measured approach, but understanding we got to quickly get comfortable with how this is going to work in each of our lives going forward.
Can I piggyback on that? Go for it. Certainly, in professional services industries, it's imperative that we use AI or other technology developments to your point, become more efficient, reduce the cost of doing business, potentially reduce the cost to our clients, and have the tools necessary for clients to share information with us and vice versa to make the process more efficient. That means developing an infrastructure internally to make our team members more efficient. But I appreciated the mayor's comments in terms about relationships, because ours is also a relationship business. And one of the things that I have seen really post-pandemic, I see my clients a lot less today than I used to, because the requirements of being in person just are not the same as they used to be in order to get a job done. And so one of our challenges, I think, is to continue to be able to utilize these tools that make us more efficient and maybe make face time less necessary, but also continue to maintain and build the relationships that have gotten us to this point and are necessary for the future.
Got it. Okay, that's awesome. So we probably got just a couple more minutes here to try to stay on. So I'm going to ask one just for everybody to address is, what's the thing that either most excites you about the growth and innovation, or most gives you reason for pause and say, if we don't look out for X, I'm really excited about Y, but if we don't watch out for X, what do you think those things are if you're trying to think 5, 10 years out? Let's start with you, Jeff.
Well, again, I'm going to play a little bit on AI, and one of my favorite things to do, and I suggest everybody in this room do it, it's quite interesting, is get AI agents from different AI companies to talk to each other. It can be fascinating. But no, AI, I think, is the answer to that. That wave is building very, very quickly. And I just want to say a couple of things to encourage all the business owners and executives in this room that I believe AI is a great equalizer for our businesses. And the reason for that is data, and the data models that go along with it. Everybody in this room, if I could talk about any trend, that's the most important trend, it would be digitize, and get that data model in a place where you know it's a true source of data. It's data that's accessible. You can use it across your industry. You can use it across your workflows. But most importantly, you understand the use cases that you can leverage today versus the ones that you can leverage 2 years from now. And it's growing very, very quickly. But for us, we are adopting it, but we're doing it very internally with our own data, looking at workflows, looking at efficiencies, use cases that'll help us be more effective, but not use cases that impact our customers directly or make decisions that would be difficult for our customers to understand how the decision was made or could have some bias in it. So I encourage everybody to go out there and look at those use cases. The other side of that is look for strategic partners to help you with that. If you have a very defined use case, and we just did this, we just went to Microsoft, we went with them some defined use cases and asked them to see the proof of concept, and they gave us money to do that. So I'm a big believer in technology and AI and these resources to equalize the different sizes of our businesses, because smaller businesses can be more agile. They can have better data models, and if they have better data models, they can leverage that data today and well into the future.
It's awesome. How about you, Chris?
I'm an auditor by trade, and when I started my career over 20 years ago, I used to haul around big binders of paper. And so to think about where we are today and how we do our business, it's really incredible and mind blowing. So I'm excited about the continued development of technology and what it can mean in terms of how we do our business and the types of solutions that we can bring to our clients. But on the flip side, I think it's going to be necessary for us to be able to maintain our business, given the decline that we're seeing in the accounting industry of people interested in this industry. There was a Wall Street Journal article a few weeks back about the falling enrollment in accounting programs around the country. So I think AI and other tools are going to be necessary for us to be able to keep up with the demand that exists. And so I'm not scared of AI. We've got to use it in a responsible manner, but I think it's going to be a tool for our industry to be able to continue to provide the services that we provide with the resources that we have.
It's great of it, Matt.
Yeah, so again, I think, continuing the theme, the utilization of AI or, RPA, robotic process automation is really going to allow companies to create more value for their customers, to focus their people on most efficient work. Again, going back to what Buffy said, data validation is very important in that. Are you producing results that are based on solid data? And a lot of that starts, unless you're picking up, data from sensors, there's still a process and a human touch and all of that. So I think we also can't forget that no matter how automated we get, a lot of data comes from a business process and somebody executing that business process. One of my other concerns is that as we move to this more remote work environment, we have a generation that's coming up in business that doesn't get the value of day-to-day interactions that we all had. I think there's going to be a gap in soft business skills in this generation because we all learn so much sitting around the cooler talking, having that informal conversation, grabbing lunch with somebody. And no matter how much things are automated or can connect remotely, I do think there are some soft skills that we're going to have a gap in as this next generation comes into the world. That's great. Go ahead, Len.
Yeah, I think I absolutely agree with that. Hush Blackwell, we are very, very committed to the future of work, as we call it, and that's how we actually allow for our employees to be very flexible. And yet, our goal is to get them invested in the firm, invested in the communities, and to really grow that way. I think that AI and the improving technology that we're seeing in the legal sector is going to what I hope is going to enable us to really more quickly get some of the more rote things taken care of in an accurate and efficient way so that we can invest more time in those relationships, in really diving deep into industry, becoming those specialists in the industries, focusing on the specific needs of our clients and really getting to know their companies better. So that's where I think that the technology is going to really enable lawyers and other professional service providers to really focus on the client needs and really pivot to that in that direction. And I'm excited about that ability. And I think that bringing along our younger generation to understand that and to really understand the need to dive in to support the client is going to be one of the biggest the biggest challenges and also just a big focus for us as a firm going forward.
Thank all of you all for your expertise, perspective, and time here. I think that's all we've got, unless we want to take audience questions or any questions out there. I guess there's no questions. You have 4 experts tell you a lot of good stuff. Thanks all of y'all for your time.
Thank you.